Today, we're gonna make German potato salad, the way they do it in a New York deli. Coming up right now. Let's talk about the potatoes. We have 3 pounds of these new potatoes. They're called red potatoes, waxy potatoes. That's all you need to remember here. And if you don't have small ones, you can use large ones too. That will be totally fine. We're gonna slice them thin. You can do it with a knife or you can use a mandolin, all right? Because we're making potato salad. Here are the ingredients. Bacon is what's typically in German potato salad. I haven't come across a German potato salad without it. And we have about 15 delis within like a 5-mile radius of our house. So we've been testing German potato salads because we've been doing all the deli salads on this channel. And I worked in a few delis. I know deli food pretty well. This was one that I had to do a little bit of research on. And what I came across was some similarities, and no matter what place I was in, bacon was it. We're gonna use 6 ounces of bacon. That's gonna give our fat content to give us viscosity in our salad because we're not putting any mayo in here. Though I will preface this by saying that plenty of delis in New York, German delis, will put mayo in their German potato salad. But I wanna make this different from our regular New York deli potato salad. In addition to this bacon fat, we're gonna need even more fat. So I have neutral oil here. I have a 1/4 cup of it. Neutral oil means canola, vegetable, avocado. Basically, it just means an oil that won't have too much flavor. So don't use olive oil, though you could. Liquid, we have a 1/2 cup of vinegar. We have a 1/2 cup of water, okay? Because we need a lot of liquid here for these potatoes to sit in the brine. 1 cup of finely diced, or this is basically a mince of onion. When I did the New York deli, I actually grated the onion. You can do that one here too. We are gonna grate a carrot. We're gonna put 1 cup of grated carrot into our German potato salad. I'm sneaking in some carrot here. There are some delis that do it, but it's not as common. So if you want to omit it, you can. Let's talk about things that are very common in all delis here in New York. Sugar, lots of it, okay? So, you know, you might be shaking your head and saying, God, Jim, you're using sugar again in another deli recipe? Yeah, I mean, I am. And I'm using 5 tablespoons of it. 5 tablespoons of granulated sugar. That's gonna balance out this 1/2 cup of vinegar. You don't wanna put as much sugar in here. Back off a little bit, maybe go to 3. But you are gonna need sugar in it if you're putting in a 1/2 cup of vinegar. You see where I'm going here? If you start taking out one thing, then you're gonna be messing with everything. 1½ teaspoons of fine sea salt, or just iodized salt, or whatever. So that equates to about, what, 8 grams of salt, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. One more thing I forgot to mention, parsley, chives, green onion, those are all great for garnish. They look good, and actually chives and green onion are nice flavor agents, but if you don't have it, that's fine. Okay, so let's boil the potatoes right now. Okay, big pot of water. This is an 8-quart pot, that'll be fine. Use a large one if you have it, and just put the potatoes in here, okay? I'm gonna bring these over here to my stove, my real stove, which I do have. It's out of frame, you can't see it. And we're gonna bring these to a boil, and you can knock the heat down a little bit to like medium high. You're using waxy potatoes so they don't fall apart, but still cook them to like a minute less than fork tender. Okay, so let's grate the carrot. I'm gonna show you how to grate a carrot, all right? A lot of the ingredients now I just prep off camera, but this one I can do over here. 1 cup of grated carrot. If you don't wanna use this, you don't have to. And if you don't use it, you will be more in line with most New York delis. Most of the places we bought it from did not have the carrot. Okay, and I think this 1 carrot I had gave me roughly a cup. You don't have to squeeze water out of here because what we're doing here, and this is similar to the other deli potato we did, you want this to sit in the brine overnight. Bacon's easier to cut when it's like partially frozen. This is not partially frozen. This has been sitting out for a long time. You can just do the whole pieces if you want, and then you can cut it afterwards. I find it's a little easier just to get it nice and crisp quicker by throwing it in the pan, but it's very hard to cut this now. All right, so medium heat, and then bacon. It's tempting to just put it on high, but you're just gonna burn everything. So just about medium heat, and I try to spread it out so the bacon will start rendering quicker. So we wanna get the bacon out of here. We wanna get it crispy, and then we want to save all of our fat from 6 ounces of bacon. I'm using thick cut here. It doesn't matter. You could use thin cut. One more thing I wanna let you know. With this German potato salad, I'm going to make a sandwich for it that the taste tester is going to be surprised about. So forget about how good this German potato salad is by itself. It's even better when you put it on a sandwich. It's about 3 minutes. It needs to keep cooking, so the fat is starting to render. This is done. So just paper towels over here and just scoop it out with something with a slotted spoon so you can save the fat. Okay, just like that. So here's a lot of bacon fat in there. Gonna add in avocado today. That's 1 cup of finely diced onion. That's very hot. I gotta take that off the heat. Putting the carrot in too. I turn this off, I'm gonna turn it back on, but about a 4 out of 10 I want it. We wanna let these cook until everything is relatively soft, about 3 to 5 minutes. All right, my potatoes are done. They're a little bit, like, I can't get the fork all the way through them, but like in the beginning of it. Very carefully, just drain them. You don't have to get them super cold here, but you wanna get them cold enough that you can handle them. So like warm, and so we can peel the skin off and then slice them. Okay, so that water's just running cool, and you can see the consistency here. These have been in there for about 3 minutes. This is good, this is nice and soft. It probably went for about 5 minutes. Again, 5 tablespoons of sugar. Here is water, that's a half a cup of water. And then this is a half a cup of white vinegar. So I have the salt and the pepper. That could go on the potatoes after we slice it, but you can also add it in here. It doesn't really matter because if you put it in here or you put it on the potatoes, we're letting the potatoes sit completely in this brine mixture. Now you can just turn up your heat a little bit. You just want to whisk this until the sugar is completely evaporated. You could use like a nylon whisk here if you're using a pan like I have. If you're using a stainless pan, just use anything you like. Okay, so this is evaporated. Just turn off your heat. You could pull this, move this off to the side. We have to slice our potatoes. You know, you could do something like this. You take your potatoes and you can lay them out on like a wire rack, which will allow them to cool off a little bit better. But I mean, these are hot, and with them being hot, it does 2 things. Hot's not the right word. They're warm, okay, when I touch them. But that does 2 things. It allows us to peel the skin off easier, and it also allows the brine mixture that we're making to absorb into it more. Okay, so potato like this, and sometimes it'll peel easier than this. You can eat it with the skin on. Like, you don't have to do this, but I'm doing it how every deli I've ever been into does it, okay? So there it is, peeled. If you do this with like a powdered potato, like Idaho, russet, whatever, your potato salad's gonna turn to mush. All right, they're all set. They're actually perfect texture, like tenderness. You want them, so they didn't fall apart. So now we can slice them. You could do this 2 ways, okay? The old-fashioned way with a knife, I would just try to get the pieces as small as you can, like very thin slices, like that, which is what delis will have. These potatoes are great. They like kind of, even when after they cook, they like kind of solidify again. And they, but this is a type you want for potato salads. The other ones just fall apart. They turn to mush. All right, so you can do it with a knife, or you can use a mandolin. I'm going to use a mandolin because it's faster. It's like too gluey, so I'm having an easier time just using my knife. You see how it's like rounding here? If you're like worried about that, you can just take 1 piece to start. So now you have a flat edge. So now the potato doesn't move and just come through. So here are all our potatoes. Use like anything that's like flat. We want the brine to make contact with all of the potatoes. So that's why we made this much brine. That's why we have this much liquid here. Now I tasted the brine, it tastes delicious. Not gonna be able to tell though 100% about salt levels yet. Just move it around here. You want these potatoes to almost be swimming in it. If you don't think you have enough liquid, which I might not, you can add a little bit more water here, like 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup. Gently mix it because, you know, we want these potatoes to maintain most of their shape. That's why we, you know, cooked them to the rate we did. The deli that's next to me, that's like one of the most famous delis in Long Island. They make a bunch of sandwiches and they put this German potato on the sandwich. So I'm gonna have James test this, but I'm also gonna have him try a sandwich where I'm gonna put this on there. But before I do any of that, really, you should be doing this overnight, 100% overnight. Halfway, give it a mix, just so everything continues to get distributed. Often, probably more than half the time, it's served warm. So you just serve it warm. That's all you have to do. You can put some of the bacon in now. For the most part, I like to keep most of it for garnish at the end. So I'll keep like half of it for garnish. One more thing, salt levels, okay? Try to like get a piece that's really well coated with it. That is phenomenal. All right, so we're gonna cover this with plastic wrap and we're gonna give it 2 hours, but ideally overnight. Okay, it's been about 3 hours, I would say, give or take, right? About maybe 4 hours. It's delicious. All right, and you can see there's some liquid in here, but not as much as there was before. The potatoes drink it up, they like absorb it. If you want, when you serve this for your guests, you can drain it all. I don't recommend you do this. This is not like the New York Mac where you drain and then you have the mayo to go in. We're not putting mayo in this. Though I do want to tell you, and I think I mentioned in the beginning, there are a lot of delis here in New York, German delis that will mix mayo in there. So I put a little bit more pepper in there. It's fantastic. We're gonna have the taste tester try this, but I'm gonna make the best sandwich ever. Well, maybe not ever, but I'm gonna make a really good sandwich right now with this German potato salad. Okay, so I got a beautiful roll. The thing I'm doing is imitating is a hero from a place I'll talk about in a minute. I have 2 chicken cutlets that I have made about 38 times on this channel. Munster cheese, mozzarella cheese. What we wanna do right now with this is we wanna melt it. I have the broiler on. I'm just gonna let it go probably for a minute, maybe 2 minutes, just until it gets melty. Russian dressing. Going to put a little bit of the potato salad down here. I'm going to try to get some of the stuff that's fairly well drained. Get those cutlets on there. A little bit of red onion, pepperoni in there. Now I wanted chives, but I don't have chives, so I'm going to use a little bit of green onion. More bacon. And this bacon, especially if you're going to serve this hot, if you're going to serve your potato salad hot, then heat up your bacon too. James, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
I know you tested the Italian potato salad before. This is German potato salad. Let us know what you think.
What I really like about this is, I feel like normally when you go to a deli, if you got German potato salad, the bacon will always be like really soft. But since you made this fresh, it's still pretty crunchy. So I really like that about it. I think it has a good amount of vinegar and sugar and liquids in it, because I feel like if it doesn't have enough liquids, it's not that good.
Well, you can tell them. When I was testing it out, that's when you didn't like it that much.
Well, I still liked it, but not as much as I do now. But if you had too much liquid, then it's also not good.
You can drain it if you have too much.
Yeah, so you should try to get a good balance. Like, I would say this is a pretty good balance.
You can rate this one first, and I actually have a surprise for you. You know the place that we go, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Seaport Deli, Instatalkit. They have amazing heroes, and James orders one all the time called...
The Terminator.
The Terminator. Okay, I didn't make an exact replica, and I didn't do it on a hero, but I made it for you on a roll. So they do it on a garlic hero, and they put even more stuff on it. They put like 3 sauces. I was like, all right.
We'll see how it tastes compare it though. This is different, but I like it. So like you said, you didn't put on all the sauces. So I'm getting a lot of Russian dressing, Thousand Island, whatever you want to call it. I actually really like it. So it's not the same, but I think it might be just as good. I'm getting the most flavor out of the chicken cutlet, the potato salad, and the Russian dressing. What I like about this is that it's way less messy. I want to Seaport.
Oh yeah. What makes this place so good is they give you a hero. It literally weighs 3 pounds. They're the deli we go to the most. They put German potato on a few of their sandwiches. I'm like, let me make it. Let's see what he likes. So what does the sandwich get versus the standalone German versus the sandwich?
Okay. I'm gonna do the German first.
Yep.
I'm gonna give that an 8.5.
Okay.
Just cause I'm not the biggest fan of German potato salad. I like it with other things.
You like regular New York deli potato salad more?
Yeah. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. I love this.
If you want to make a chicken cutlet, I've literally done about 10 times on video. So you could buy all these cold cuts at a supermarket, at a deli, and make the German potato salad. I think you're gonna love it, the German potato, without being on a sandwich. But if you want to trust this guy, which a lot of you do, then go ahead and make the sandwich.
Definitely make the sandwich.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you next time.